It's important to say that the Piggy timeline is incredibly complex. You could probably grasp the basics from playing the game, but when it gets to the motivations and reasoning of everything, we have basically nothing to go off of. Regardless of that, I think I've made a pretty fitting narrative for everything, and it all starts thousands of years ago. There was an empire, the greatest kingdom Evalia had ever seen. The Southern Empire was ruled by King Milo and Queen Viola, and they had just had a son, but this prince was born mute, and because of that, he didn't have any friends and his parents would start neglecting him. This loneliness ended up becoming unbearable for him. He longed for just one simple interaction. He decided to give a gift to the creature, so he severed off the head of one of his teddy bears and gave it to him to wear as a mask. He then started calling the creature Mr. Stitchy. Mr. Stitchy returned the favor, giving the prince a mask of his own. He gave him a face. He was his only friend. Mr. Stitchy and the prince would spend months together. But when Mr. Stitchy learned about the prince's condition, he grew frustrated, and he left. But not before the prince had been secretly attaining Mr. Stitchy's powers. The prince started to become more like Mr. Stitchy in more ways than anyone could have ever imagined. Mr. Stitchy was scared. He left his only friend, and now that friend had the power to destroy everything. The prince proposed a deal, but Mr. Stitchy refused. He was angry. Mr. Stitchy decided he needed to destroy him first, so he sent down a famine. Thousands of people in the empire died, hundreds more evacuated. The prince's parents were killed, and eventually so was the prince. However, when his time on Earth ended, his time in the beyond began. He was furious of Mr. Stitchy, and so he tortured him, stripped him of his powers, and locked him up to live in the mortal world for all of eternity. Now Mr. Stitchy was the leader of a cult that he called the Insolence. The cult branded themselves with an orange and black eye. The prince became the new leader of the Insolence. The Insolence started calling him the Insolent, the iniquitous one, but Tio was the one that stuck with him. From that day, he would be known as Tio. Protection Services through Mechanics and Machines was a company focused on the manufacturing of robots. They were under a much larger company called the Evalia Entrepreneur Program. The CEO of Protection Services was a man named Mudson Murphy. He and the tech consultant Ryder Page were working on an introductory tape for new employees, but Ryder started realizing the company was shady and quit. Protection Services decided they couldn't let Ryder go and built a robot counterpart of him. When Ryder found out about this, he knew he had to show the public what Protection Services was actually doing.
All right, Benjamin. What's up?
Okay, so over the past weekend, we had some problems with the company.
What kind of problems?
Well, you know Mr. Page, the ex-tech consultant who left maybe a week ago?
Yes, get on with it.
After he left, he somehow got his hands on that employee tape he was filming for us, the one we were going to show on the first day tour.
I'm not seeing the problem here.
Well, on that tape, there's a lot of things, to say the least, that people took in a very wrong way. including the EEP.
Like?
Well, they thought Mr. Page looked like he was forced into doing it, that he was uncomfortable, that the robots were evil, that we turned Ryder into a robot. All these empty claims.
The company's reputation could be ruined, and Mudson decided the best way to deal with the situation was to respond. As he was riling up his team to record, an employee named Harry Hunt started berating him.
What's with the scoff, Harry?
I don't know, it's just... You want to film this whole 30-minute, however long you said response video, but like... Who cares to watch all that?
Excuse me? No. You be quiet while I talk. As a friendly reminder, this is my company, so you
Yeah, I get it. I know.
keep the attitude, and you won't be keeping this job.
Got it. A CEO will obviously defend his company in situations like these. If you're truly as clean as you say you are, you should let people do the talking and put out the good word for you.
Okay, Harry. Since you want to stand tall and bold, let me do it my way. And if my way isn't working, you become the director. That sound better for you?
Mudson decided to let Harry use his idea of letting the public speak for the company and started interviewing important public figures in the community.
Is it on?
Yes, it's on.
Right? Great. From my experience with protection services.
Through mechanics and machines?
Right. From my experience, Mudson and his efficient team of bright engineers and workers have their vision set on what's best for the country and for their business. And yeah, I think they're great.
The tape then shows several employees happily working on their project, including an employee named Ronald Rayleigh. Ronald was a game developer for protection services and was working on a game called Pick 64. This game would end up being cancelled 2 years later as the company had bigger problems to deal with. Harry had secretly added clips into the response video, which completely ruined the company's reputation.
What did you do? I don't know what you're talking about. Stop lying to me! What do you think I did? You set me up! You punked me! Punk? Okay, just put me down and I can explain myself. What is there to explain? Okay, I film my videos as one long video and then cut out the bad takes. The editor must not have saved when I edited that clip out. No, that's hogwash. What do you want from me? What I want from you is to cut the act and tell me why you did it. Because you deserved it. You donkey!
What is going on in here?
Oh, Anna. I was just having a talk with Harry here.
A talk? With him up against the wall while you yell at him?
I'm sorry, my love.
Don't call me that. Come on, Harry.
Protection Services decided to take Ryder Page to court. The details of this lawsuit are unknown and will be revealed when tape number 3 is released. Sometime after this, Mudson would leave the company. Without a CEO, the company would go underground. Mr. P would end up stepping in, buying out the company. At the time, Mr. P had opened up a new carnival and was starting to become one of the richest and most famous people in Avalia. Despite his success, Mr. P insisted on only working on his farm, getting the profits but not being affiliated with protection services. Ronald restarted development on the game, rebranding it to Pick++, but this game also cancelled production the following year. He started again in 1983, bringing back the original game title, Pig 64, and this time, the game would be released to the public the following year in 1984. The code the game was built on was full of abnormalities, and a virus was installed into the game. The virus took the shape of a rat NPC named Nor. Ronald would then release a sequel to Pig 64 that summer. Willow's family was extremely poor. They all had to live in a small dingy room and sleep in sleeping bags, and Willow's parents would have to steal food just to survive. The Lucella Police Department would end up arresting her parents, leaving her and her brother William alone. After a few weeks of having to survive on their own, a shop owner next door named Daisy would come in and provide for them. On special occasions, she'd buy them pie. But then a war broke out in Valia, and Daisy got drafted. The same war in which a soldier named Tigry would fight in. While in battle, Tigry would fall into an old military bunker. He was incredibly stressed, and this was the perfect time for Tio to attack. Tio needed more members of the Insolence, and his easiest prey were people whose mental state were at their lowest, so he tricked Tigry into believing his military partner was this. He then tried to further weaken Tigry by showing him hallucinations of his past, including his abusive home life. After that, Tigry had enough. Tigry killed who he believed was a monster, but at that moment, Tio lifted his hallucinations. Tigry just killed his best friend. William was devastated by Daisy's leave. There were days he refused to eat anything at all. Willow, in an attempt to cheer him up, gathered a group of her friends to steal him a pie, just like the one Daisy would buy him. But when she returned, William was gone, and the only thing left behind was his scarf. Willow got arrested later that day by an officer and a detective. The detective showed remorse for Willow, asking Officer Doggy if they were really doing the right thing. Willow would get locked up in the LPD station with William's scarf still on her neck. Mr. P and his wife had just found and adopted 3 young orphan vegetables. Eventually, Mrs. P got extremely sick with the disease known as lineoma. Mr. P worked with a team of researchers to find a cure to the disease. He spent all of his time on trying to create a cure that he had none left for his kids, and they would eventually go missing. Mr. P and his team had settled on what they believed to be a stable cure that they named Substance 128, but they had no way of knowing for sure without testing it. Not wanting to risk an unstable cure on his wife, Mr. P started asking out for volunteers, and the Piggy family accepted. Penny, Georgie, and their parents Preston and Pearl Piggy all volunteered to test the cure, so the scientists prepared a batch of 5 potions, 4 to be used on the Piggy family, and the last one to be used on Mrs. P if the tests are successful. When the Piggy family goes to test the cure, Georgie decides to stay back, leaving only Penny, Preston, and Pearl to test the potions. The initial results for the test are successful. All the subjects reported feeling much stronger and healthier. The scientists encouraged Mr. P to wait a few hours before giving the potion to Mrs. P in case something went wrong, but Tio couldn't let that happen. The Piggy family and Mrs. P had succumbed to the infection, a disease that turned an individual into a brain-dead zombie with a thirst for blood. When Mr. P saw his wife with those red eyes, he knew he had to put her down, but he couldn't bring himself to do it, so he let her go. The infection spreads from either getting attacked by an infected or coming in contact with Substance 128. The Piggy family managed to get home okay, but while Georgie was sleeping, they all turned, and Georgie ran away. The detective was assigned with the task of trying to find out where Georgie went. The detective woke up in the house face to face with an infected Penny. After they were just able to get away, they needed to go back to the station for backup. The car broke down, and they were completely surrounded. They locked themselves in a gallery, but an infected got in with them. They escaped and set up camp in the old oak forest. Willow's group was growing larger. The 9 of them decided to name their group the Silver Paw, or TSP for short. But Willow was pissed at Doggy and the detective. She believed they were the reason her parents got taken away, and she wanted revenge. Mr. P, Bunny, and Sheepy had also been taking shelter in the Old Oak while they searched for a cure to the infection. But when Sheepy got scratched, the others would have to evacuate. Mr. P would make 2 potions of rust cures, but he didn't know if they would work. He and Bunny would go to their old middle school and try to save Bunny's friend Gloria. They thought everything was okay when they got there, but Gloria got scratched. It was only a matter of time before she turned, and Mr. P gave her the rush cure. But this only sped up the process, causing Mr. P to lock himself in the sewers, and Bunny to lock herself in the surveillance room. Mr. P needed Bunny alive, and asked the detective to free her from the room and meet him in the sewers. When they got there, the detective passed out. They were rushed to the hospital, but doctors found signs of the infection within them. But Bunny didn't give up. She felt she owed them for freeing her from the school. Weeks later, the hospital was raided by the infected, and Bunny was attacked. Mr. P gave her the last rush cure, thinking it would save her, but it didn't. He told Bunny to meet him on top of the roof, but he left them. The detective woke up minutes later. When they got to the roof, they found out that Mr. P had deserted them. They decided to go back in and escape through the metro under the hospital. The infection was taking over Bunny. She couldn't feel her legs anymore. When they got to the metro, Bunny had to lie down while the detective fixed the train. When they were ready to go, Bunny couldn't go with them. The detective was furious at Mr. P. He was the reason all of this happened, and he was going to put a stop to it. Bunny couldn't take it anymore. The infection started making her hallucinate. She heard her sister Bonnet laughing on the train tracks and went to go check on her, but her sister was nowhere to be found. The infection caused her to play a made-up scenario in her mind where she shot down infected and ran from hallucinations. She left the metro and went into the forest where she found her old friend Sheepy, and they both left to be infected together. The detective decided to look for Mr. P in his carnival, but when they got there, they didn't find him. They found Zizzy and Pony. After Pony infected Doggy, he felt terrible for what he did. He left TSP and took shelter in the city, where he found his old friend Zizzy. He was dumbfounded on how the detective was still alive, and was worried they would recognize him, but they didn't. Zizzy and Pony took the detective back to their safe place in the city. When they get to the safe place, they exchange backstories. Zizzy was a fencing coach who would teach her little sisters, and Pony wanted to take after his father and become an optometrist, but someone was watching them. Zizzy and the detective decide to go check it out, while Pony stays behind. They follow the shadow into an old mall. They went inside, but the mall's security robot had been triggered by their appearance. Robbie had been built by Protection Services. Because it was tied into their database, Nor was able to corrupt it, causing it to go haywire and kill anyone it teased. It already tore off the legs of another survivor, causing her to get infected as she had no means to escape. After escaping Robbie, Zizzy and the detective find the shadow hiding behind a counter. After being asked to reveal himself, he did. Georgie got up from behind the counter, the missing kid the detective was originally after. After he got away from his family, he went to see his grandma in the city, but she was infected too. With nowhere else to go, he set up shelter in the mall. While staying there, Tia was constantly attacking him with nightmares of the night his family turned. Zizzy offered that he go with them and take shelter in their safe place. Georgie accepts under the condition that Mr. P be hunted down for killing his family. When they get to the safe place, Pony, Mimi, Giraffe, and Zizzy's sisters Z and Zuzi are there to greet them. Pony tells them that they tracked down a helicopter signal in an old military outpost. The detective immediately figures out the helicopter belonged to Mr. P and says he needs to see him. Zizzy and Pony go with the detective to put an end to all of this. When they arrive at the outpost, they come to find out that the entire army had been infected. They also find that this was the correct signal, as next to the helicopter there is a power plant. They are about to enter, but Georgie shows up behind them. He was so furious at Mr. P that he followed the three there with a baseball bat. He wasn't being careful of how loud he was being though, and attracted an army of infected soldiers behind him. Zizzy and Pony decide to stay behind and deal with the soldiers, while Georgie and the detective go into the plant to confront Mr. P. Mr. P was so ashamed of what he'd done and so afraid of who he was that he requested protection services turn him into a cyborg to protect himself. Tio was starting to take advantage of his mental state and started attacking him with ghost-like hallucinations of his past. When Mr. P saw Georgie and the detective, Tio saw them too. Tio had taken an interest in the detective. He was fascinated by how the detective survived being attacked by Penny back when the infection first started, and he knew he needed to take advantage of it. Because Tio had constantly been attacking Mr. P thought that Georgie and the detective were also figments of his imagination. He tried to run from them, but they followed. Eventually, he decided that he'd need to get rid of them himself. He was going to stop them, like he should have stopped himself. The detective decided that a loud enough noise should be enough to have Mr. P snap out of it. He finds a stick of dynamite and rigs it to explode in the middle of the plant. The explosion disorients the detective for a bit, which is enough for Tio to enter his mind. Tio makes the detective see the places that hold the most emotion for him. The forest where Doggy gets infected, the school where they meet Bunny, the metro where Bunny gets infected, and the carnival where they meet Zizzy and Pony. They find a picture of Mr. P's wife and give it to him, and he finally snaps out of it. He tells the detective his story, how he tested the potions on the Piggy family and how his wife got infected. They meet up with Zizzy and Pony outside the plant as they finish off the soldiers. After talking about what to do next, Georgie brings up the idea of trying to find a cure.